Back with Brian and JJ Radio.
Yes.
We finally got Bobby out of this studio. We have Miss Amanda Spetta and Joey Lingard. They're with AC Power Yoga. Really good friends of mine. I want to say thanks for hanging out with us again. It's like every year in the beginning of the year, we got to hang out. Remind people to stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
New year, new me, all that kind of stuff.
That's a thing?
That it is. And it's actually a thing that we talk about that we hate because it's habit changes, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about a habit change. Well, first and foremost, talk about your studio. Where is it? What do y'all practice? And what do you guys do here in what's kind of Alamo Heights area, but Mankey Park?
Yes.
Yeah, it's right on Broadway.
Right on Broadway, right near the Woody Museum.
Right.
Really close.
Right south of it.
Yes.
And so talk about the yoga studio. You do unique forms of yoga that aren't well represented here in San Antonio, and talk about that a little bit.
Well, we do Baptist Power Yoga, which is a little more represented lately in San Antonio, so that's good.
Sure.
But we do Baptiste Power Yoga, heated. It's heated 90 degrees. And then we do Bowspring, and we do Yin Yoga.
So Bowspring is not very well represented almost at all, right?
Anywhere, really, in the country.
Yeah, there's some stuff in New York I heard and some other places. So talk about that uniqueness, because I really feel that separates, besides the incredible instructors that y'all have, separates you from your competition. So talk a little bit about Bowspring, either one of y'all.
Bowspring is a whole different way of being in your body. Instead of being straight, like we think of straight like a line in our spine, we're going to keep the curves.
Oh,
so you keep a curvy spine.
I feel like my curves are there.
Yeah.
I got a curvy spine.
Well, and I had curves.
Yeah.
And my whole life I was told, tuck your tail down. I did
Right.
ballet. Tuck your tail down. I
even know
started
that was a
doing
thing.
yoga. Tuck your tail down. And so I was like, It's like, but I have a butt. It just sticks out. And so I couldn't make it flat enough, so it's like I almost over-tucked
Right.
too, which then is no good for your back. So you want curves in your low back. You want
Right.
a curve in your neck. And when we hold our phones, we flatten the back of our neck. And when we sit at our desk, we flatten the back of our neck. So all of us are now walking around tucked,
Yeah. I feel like
Tails and
everyone's
tucked
judging me in
chins.
this room right now.
Yeah.
walking around like that with our head down and our tail tucked, all in a posture of fear,
Right.
really. And so then that tells you that you're in fear or scared all the time.
Sure.
So to change the nervous system, you change the form that you're in.
Right.
So you create the curves, you feel your ribs, and you stand in a way that's like
Inviting.
powerful
and then
inviting, and
right.
like you see someone like that, and they're uplifted, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, and you see people.
Yes.
Your head's not down.
Right.
So
But-
you're like with people more too.
And that might be because there's like an epidemic of anxiety for a tremendous amount of people. Younger generation is always looking at their phones and kind of has that posture. There's probably a correlation to that. But so you have that. Power yoga is Baptiste Power Yoga is a little bit more represented. And it's pretty much what people consider hot yoga. That's
Yes.
not the other type. And then what's yin?
Yin yoga is all seated, and we mix it with the power. It's really nice. We mix it with power, so you get a little bit of, you feel like you moved a little bit. Then yin really, so power yoga stretches muscles, because you activate the muscles and stretch them and move. Yin yoga stretches the joints,
Right.
and that's why you're just sitting still and in the hips. And we just work more hips, low back, quads.
Yeah.
So it's seated joint stretching instead of muscle stretching.
And that's for a basketball player like myself or people that
Calm
do.
down. Yeah.
Anyone can do it. Like if you're afraid to do yoga, that would. I always
Yin is a good introduction.
The power and peace class we have, which is power yin.
Right.
The power stays really basic. The yin is very relaxing and soothing. So it's a nice way to start.
Sure. And so, obviously, you have that. It's an incredible studio. It's obviously heated, very comfortable. You go there. You don't need anything. You have mats. You have waters. You have towels.
Just an open mind.
It's just an open mind. Yeah. Just
Bring an open.
This is the first time I'm hearing that there are that many options when it comes to yoga. I thought yoga was just yoga.
whatever's that.
You're in a park. You got your mat. You know, there's kids that are having a picnic like a few yards away, and everyone's staring at you. You know, and I mean that's it. And everyone in the movies looks amazing on yoga. So that's why I think of me being in yoga.
Sure.
They're like, just bend down. I'm like, I can't tie my shoes, so I don't know what I'm doing. So
Well, I mean, when I started, I was kind of like that. I was barely scratching my kneecaps, and you just kind of go and you progress at it.
it's just like working out then.
Yeah.
So it's just a different level. It sounds like of working out. Like if I feel like you're looking like I mean, I guess when you work out, you're working out internally, but I feel like this is also like emotionally and nervous system wise and things like that. Mind, you know what I mean?
Well, I remember, Joey challenged me once I started getting kind of okay at it. Joey challenged me, like, I want you to breathe in the same amount of seconds as you breathe out, and just try that for an hour a day, and it really helps your nervous system. Like, you feel completely calm, you react to things completely different. I used to go like at 5:30 in the morning to see Joey, and so when you breathe in and out, just think about breathing in for 5 seconds and breathing out the same amount of time. That in itself gets you away from where you are, and just really does calm the nervous system down, and it definitely works. It's really, really cool. But anyways, anytime. Let's talk a little bit more about a new thing that is also not very well represented in San Antonio. It has to do with ice, which we probably need a lot more here. Different
type of ice.
Ice and breathing.
Ice and breathing.
And breathing.
Lots of breathing.
So, Joey, talk about this new, it's not even new, but it's just barely coming around kind of method of...
Yeah, we started hosting. We've hosted 2 workshops of Wim Hof and...
Ely comes,
yeah, and she's coming for a 3rd time. What happens is you learn how to change your breathing pattern, right? You get some information about what breathing does, how it works in your body, how it works when you're exercising, what happens with the breath and oxygen levels in your body, and then we take an ice bath after.
There was no other way to say that. He says, and then
you don't
we
have
take
to.
an ice
It's
bath.
optional.
So,
it's optional.
yeah.
Absolutely optional.
Sign
but
me out.
You start to step in. You put yourself under the stress of cold and see if you remember any of the breathing.
Yeah. So the breathing technique is to... because it's panic, right? Like if I threw you right now, and if you were walking on a lake and you fell through, it's panic. It's fight or flight. You go into fight, right? And so the breathing techniques that you were showing me is that you kind of like you're going to be in that panic mode, so you just get there. Like you learn how to get to that panic mode, and then still know that it's. Joey says everything is temporary, right? So it's just temporary frightenedness. It's temporary shock. Right, and so, and the longer you can remind your body that it's temporary, the longer that you kind of be in the ice. And talk about the benefits of the ice, though, because I think anyone listening or watching on YouTube is like, why the heck would I ever jump into an ice bath? Like, I didn't hurt myself. I'm not Kobe Bryant. And so, like, why would I ever be in an ice bath?
Well, one of the things, the inflammation, it lowers the inflammation. And it exercises the arteries and the veins, the circulatory system. So just like our muscles, they pump up and they go down, our circulatory system does too. And since we're in Texas and we don't get that cold, when we get into the ice, you feel the numbness and the tingling because our body's not used to going that small.
It's like flexing for the first time. And if you think about someone like myself, I was born in Brownsville, went to Miami, then Houston, then El Paso, then here.
Yeah, you were afraid of cold.
Circulatory system never exercised.
Yeah, so my veins were just doing like the threes like that. Yeah. And so you want, but it's not good over 40 years, right? Like you need the opposite of it, right? In order for it to kind of reset almost.
Well, just anything, mobility is good. If something's supposed to move and you don't use it, then it stops moving.
Right.
Right. So mobility in and out is always good.
And then you mentioned inflammation, and there's been so many studies that cancer, diabetes, heart disease, these are all
arthritis,
obviously. That's the kind of obvious one, but all of these other things are just can only happen in an inflammatory state, right? Yeah. You can't have diabetes in an uninflammatory state. You can't have that stuff. And so this has even longer term benefits then is to just jump in an ice bath.
Yeah, then if you read his there's a book about Wim Hof called What Doesn't Kill Us.
Right.
And there's different people in it, and one of the people has arthritis really bad, and that's how he keeps it in control. And,
for sure.
And much better.
Is it at least at bay?
Breathing and then doing ice.
I love that. So there's obviously, if you want to experience the best yoga in town, or even jump in an ice bath with Joe, you go to check them out at it's AC Power Yoga. They're on Broadway, right south of the Whitty Museum. We'll be right back with Bobby and JJ Radio.